Hey y'all, hey, Fancy here, and today I have a quick tip for all my fancy friends who are makers that are in business. First of all, I just want to say we in this together, y'all. Like, life ain't no joke. It ain't no crystal staff. Woo! But anyway, today's quick tip, I want to talk about when you're choosing vendors for your ingredients. When you're writing a business plan, if you haven't written one already, one of the things that you should be, that it asks for is alternative vendors for your supplies. Now, jars, labels, dispensers, all of that stuff, you can have alternative vendors and it really don't make a difference in your actual product. But when you talk about alternative vendors for your ingredients, that makes a difference. So you're going to be careful with choosing those, but also when you choose the alternative vendors, you need to test the product in your formulas. And I'm going to say that again. Test the product from your alternative vendor in your formula. Why should you test it? Well, bentonite clay is bentonite clay, but everybody's bentonite clay ain't going to act the same way the bentonite clay you get it from the Indians not going to act the same, blah, blah, blah. Ingredients act different depending on where they came from. I had an experience which prompted me to tell you guys about. I decided to try a new vendor for my bentonite clay that I use in the clay wash for hair and skin and also in my solid deodorant formula. And I wanted to try a new vendor because I felt like, I was feeling like I was paying too much for the bentonite clay, and one of my vendors who I buy something else from was sold bentonite clay as well. It was cheaper, easier for me to order from them, and also they deliver, they process orders a lot quicker than the vendor that I normally use. So I get it in, I'm like, all right, cool, I'm gonna make a regular size batch of deodorant using this just to test it out. And I was like, my gut was like, maybe you should like just make, instead of a batch of 25, you should just make like one to see how this bentonite clay acts in your formula. But I was like, nah, we good. We was not good, y'all. We was not good. Because I didn't want to spend the time to test that bentonite clay in my existing formula, I wasted an entire batch of deodorant. Like, the deodorant was so bad, I could not even scoop it out and throw it away. I had to throw away my deodorant containers too. It was just bad. It was just all bad. Well, I could have scooped it out, but it was kind of like I had to weigh, like, is this even worth my time? Like, how much do these containers really cost? Like, come on, girl. But I am a cheapskate. I'm a small business owner, so I'm always trying to find a way to not waste money, okay? But anyway, reeling it in. When I managed a lab, or working in the lab, in a hospital, anytime we got reagents in, so reagents are the known thing that we would use to test the patient samples against. Anytime we got a new batch in, we would test the new batch of reagents to make sure they worked the way they were supposed to work for our patient testing. And sometimes you would get a batch that you would have to tweak the procedure a little bit so that you would get the proper results. Which means, like, I probably could have tweaked my deodorant formula to make accommodations for the way this new bentonite clay worked, but I made an executive decision that it wasn't worth my time to do all of that. I would just keep ordering from my existing vendor, but I wasted time, my staff's time. I had to pay wages for them making a product that we ended up throwing away. I wasted money because I had to throw away not just the deodorant containers, but everything else that went into that. So I just want you guys to keep that in the back of your mind when you're using a new supplier for your ingredients, in order to make sure that you're having consistency across each batch. Test it first. And these vendors, they'll send you a sample, so you don't even have to order like a real supply. They'll send you samples for free, so you can, test it that way before you even order or list them as an alternative vendor. But more of the story, when you're using ingredients from a supplier that you're not used to using, test a small batch before you go in manufacturing. And that's all I have to say about that. All right. Fancy out.